What's up, guys? How are you? What's happening?
Hi,
Hello,
morning. What's up? How's it everything going? Early morning?
Yeah, after a very
early
long time, the
morning.
three of us have come together. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
The last
surprisingly,
show,
that too in the
Shark
morning.
Tank.
Yeah. That was like what?
Shark Tank.
Yeah, that was like 5 months ago, no? 4 or 5 months ago. Damn, December.
Yeah,
Yeah,
easily.
when we recorded that. And now we're back right now. See, and this time also, like from Shark Tank, we come with a very killer episode. What's our episode for the day? Anyone who wants
Hmm.
to talk about it?
You do.
Fine. So today our episode is about IPL 2023 and like the impact that it's having in the country and with respect to the marketing and the business side, of course. So
Hmm.
we will explore what are they doing, the changes in the game, and how it is the impact that it's having in the country, right? So we'll talk about all of these
Hmm.
things. So before, like now that we opened up this thing, let's start with the first thing, right? IPL is now the second biggest sport league in the world. So what do you guys think about that? What are your thoughts and how did it grow to become so much? What are your thoughts on that? Pranay, start.
So,
Shashank,
Prana, you
start.
want to jump in on this first?
Yeah, Shashank, please go ahead. Cricket is a favorite thing. I'm sure you
Yeah.
might know more things.
So, I am a fan of cricket, but not a huge fan of IPL because, obviously match fixing and all this stuff. But yeah, so I'll tell you why it became so popular because of, this is from our last episode, basically localization. So they appeal to the local audience, which, you start supporting team from your state. And I think that is one of the main reasons why this became IPL. And obviously the stars and the money and
Mm.
Mukesh Ambani.
Mhm. What, do you have anything else to add? Huh.
I think we should go back to when IPL was formed as a platform
Mm.
back. It was so just 11 players get a chance to play for India and test match separate teams, right? Now
Mm.
IPL gave a platform for other players, upcoming bidding players, so that they could play on the platform. They could show on an international level, they also are there, good talent and skills and otherwise.
Yeah.
So I think with that perspective, it was a good platform for the other players to come and showcase themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, I think when this Modi came, what was his name?
Lalit Modi.
Lalit Modi, yeah.
Lalit Modi.
His concept
For a
was
second, I thought Nirav Modi.
yeah, I was about to say, I was like, like yeah. Lalit Modi, yeah. Lalit
Yeah,
Modi,
Lalit Modi.
he wanted to make it more like a festival. So you would see, I think, if I'm not wrong, 2008, 9 or 9, 10 IPL,
Eight.
it kind
Eight,
of,
eight, eight.
he made it mandatory for all the franchisees that after the match, you have to come for the after party.
Mm.
And all the players. So, you're playing a match, then you're going for the after party. So he wanted to make it more like a festival kind of thing. And
Yeah.
from there on to now, what Shashank said, they have made it more customized. It's more like RCB is the third, RCB is the third biggest
Yeah. Instagram
Instagram
follow
channel,
page.
right?
Yeah.
After, I don't know, top,
Mumbai and Chennai. Yeah,
right?
Mumbai,
And
Chennai, or like I don't know if it's Chennai first, Mumbai first, but one of these two, and then it is RCB. And to think of it,
It'll probably be Chennai.
yeah, yeah,
And
okay.
even if these guys now don't win, I mean, money thing is the least priority for them, last priority for them. But they still are profitable,
Mm.
they are good profitable brand. So it has come from there to there now. So yeah.
I mean, that's how they've been able to buy also like all these crazy players, right? Like in their roster. And to think of it, since you mentioned about opportunities, like I was speaking to a friend yesterday about IPL and things, and she was telling me about this Rinku Singh guy, right? His family had
Mm.
no money at all, and he's
Yeah.
from a very poor background. And because now that he's in IPL and everything, he's able to build a home for his family. That's how
Mm.
it's like. So the
Yeah.
impact that way, it's been crazy. I know there's a lot of the same as that fixing and a lot of bad light on that as well, but there
Mm.
have been like such good impact of like this thing such of cricket and of IPL, right? And I remember, Shashank, you were really telling like how the money drastically varies from like when you're playing for a division to a TNPL sort
Oh.
of thing, and then to IPL, and so people, and it's very hard also to get there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
Obviously.
Mhm. So, like, let's talk about that. Money, right? Like, how does IPL make money? Like, what are the avenues of their what are the revenue avenues? Yeah.
I mean,
I
brands,
think Pranay is more
sponsorship,
qualified to
pricing,
answer.
brand sponsorships and other things are the primary source of income. And of course, majority of the control that they have is more around the ticket sales of their different gates that they have of each of the stadium. So that they can regulate as per they want. I mean, obviously in terms of more into profitization, but mostly brand deals and other things, like I know after Tata IPL, Qatar Airways is the second biggest sponsors, right?
Yeah.
Of the entire IPL, and that money also gets distributed among all the franchises. It's not just it goes to IPL as a like to BCCI or IPL as a brand. It gets distributed to the entire franchisee also, and then individual franchisee having their own sponsorships, brands, collaboration. And this I'm talking in terms of 50-60 CR, like and then they have their annual 3-year contract. So of course that is there, the one-time money, and of course you don't have you have barrage of sponsorships lined up. It's not you are selecting as a brand. You already have a lot of brands coming up to you, and then of course, like I said, majority the control that they have is on the ticket sales that comes. Yeah.
Is ticket sales also divided between these franchises and stuff?
No, so
Yes.
they own the stands. So the sponsors and all, they own the stands, and then that money might go out there. But like Qatar Airways, for instance, has 4 stands from Chinnaswamy Stadium. So that 4 stand money they can put as they want and then maybe distribute it. So yeah.
And like, what's the percentage like? I mean, I'm just curious about this because like, is it like evenly divided to all the franchisees, or is it like, okay, like, I mean, there are certain bigger percentage and stuff?
No. So let's suppose Chennai versus RCB on 17th, right? So it will be only between the two.
No, that's what you said, sponsorship money, right? Like, I mean, if Qatar is sponsoring IPL, the sponsorship money is divided between all of the franchisees.
So, yeah. Can you come up with the question again? Sorry.
No. Since you mentioned that sponsorship money is divided between the franchisees, I'm just basically like, I mean, how is it divided? Is it like equally divided, or is it like percentage?
No, it's not. I mean, it's certainly a portion how it is divided among, but it is divided. Like I don't know the exact numbers with what percentage of portion it is divided, but yes, the money that comes is given to the franchisees, all the owners out there.
So to give you an exact answer, let's assume if they pay 1,000 crores and 20% is divided between teams, all the 10 teams get equal shares only. So, but whatever the amount they're willing to share is different, but every team will get equal money. As the league has no relegation up system as of now, so it is divided between all these teams equally.
So what do you guys think about like the impact IPL has had in India? We just mentioned one small story in between, like in the start. And like, I mean, and the opportunity.
What impact hai yaar? I don't think so now selectors select players in Indian team from Devdar Trophy or some other local Indian trophies, right? I'm forgetting the names. Although there are a lot of prominent tournaments in India through which selectors used to go there and take out from the Ranji season and all. I think IPL has become a brand. People are getting selected right from your one-day squad to your T20. Of course, IPL is the platform, but like so many examples, man. I think in last 5 years at least, all the new players that you are seeing in the one-day squad or test squad, all have performed in IPL, and that's why they have come out. So yeah, I mean that's a huge impact. That has changed the entire selection process, I guess. Amit Mishra, for that matter, right? He took a hat trick back in like decade ago. Next season, he was in this Indian cricket team. So yeah, I mean, I remember one prominent example because purely from his fitness wise, he wasn't there, but took a hat trick. Next season, he was there.
Yeah. Shashank, have you seen anything in like particular, because you've been playing and stuff also closely, like, so have you seen any person from your circle or like from your external circle seeing like how they've been impacted and stuff?
So, I mean, obviously, I have people from my hometown playing in TNPL, but no one has gone to the IPL level yet. Hopefully that happens soon, fingers crossed. But see, adding to Pranay's point, there are a lot of players who broke in from the IPL squad to the national team. It's not just Amit Mishra. You take, right now, you take the whole squad, almost half the squad is from the IPL. You take Bumrah, he's from the IPL. Surya Kumar Yadav is from IPL. You name Hardik Pandya, he's from IPL. All these players, whoever right now you're seeing playing in the T20 and one-day format, they are from the IPL. And of course, as you mentioned, the other traditional trophies has lost.
Sky.
Sorry?
Sky to
Yeah,
add. Surya Kumar.
yeah, Sky to add. Yeah. So obviously, all these players, like as you mentioned, the selectors have stopped paying a lot of attention to Ranji Trophy, Dulip Trophy, and all these traditional trophies that's been going on. And as you mentioned, marketing actually plays a huge role because, like, even if there are other sports, it's very less chance that as there are a lot of leagues, there is a very very likely chance you will be recognized for your talent. But when it comes to cricket and it comes to India, IPL is the only place where they are coming and hunting for talent right now. So obviously that is one more thing, good and bad news if you ask me. And obviously if you're selecting a test player based on their IPL performance, obviously they're not going to perform well.
Yeah,
there's going to be some issues.
Do you think since the weightage of such trophies have lessened down now, do you think that's a big this thing that's going to be a big impact, or like that's an issue? Because as you mentioned, this test and things of course the formats are not the same, so how can you expect them to perform in this format as well? So where do you see, like, how do you see the balance should be? Like, how do you see selectors should go ahead?
Okay, so the best chance we have is to to select squads like how England and Australia do. Basically they have a squad for each different format. So for a T20 format they have a different squad, for a one-day format they have a different squad, and for a test format they have a different squad. And I think that's how every country should approach cricket on the whole. And also, like, speaking about the format, with the introduction of IPL, Test cricket, has lost its popularity. I wouldn't say Test cricket is dying because of IPL. Test cricket has lost its popularity because of IPL, and it is really hard to see, star players who are performing well in the IPL. They can't even bat for 30-40 balls in a Test cricket match because obviously the want to score more. Without wanting to stand in the sun for so long, it's becoming very hard for these players also. And that is one thing that makes the game a little more different. Test matches used to we play for 5 days and ends in a draw most probably, but right now it's getting completed in 3 days. So every test match you start 3 days, 4 days is getting completed, and that is one thing I'm a little bit sad about. But yeah, it's obviously going to change the dynamic. And there are T10, T5, there are 20 over. Next thing we'll have a super over tournament where it will start in the morning, end in the afternoon. It's obviously going to happen soon. Box cricket is going to become a next big thing. Everything is going to happen. Cricket is full fun only.
Yeah, it's about commercialization, right? Like, I mean, how can you make
commercialization?
Just make it. It's like TikTok. It's becoming cricket is becoming more like TikTok from YouTube.
TikTok,
right? Yeah.
Finally, Rakshit has said something that can be accommodated inside a reel.
He added the marketing part to it. You were just doing cricket. He just added the marketing.
Marketing point to it.
Yeah. Pranay, you were saying you had some point, no?
Yeah, I mean, just adding on to what Shashank said. So, see, our system also, if you see cricket board, is very robust. I mean, it's very structured, very robust, like there are different trophies, then there are Ranjis, then there are, at junior level, again, there is a proper system for cricket. So for test match, I think the selectors still go that route, as in someone who's performing in the domestic league, right? Cheteshwar Pujara is a classic example. He plays for India in the test, and then he keeps on playing the local tournaments, Dilip Trophy and others, Vijay Hazare trophies. So, in fact, all the players, those who are not playing for the Indian squad, they play these trophies. So I think that's a good platform to, of course, to work on their skills, but also to prove to the selectors that they are for the bigger games, which is primarily your test squad and one-day squad. But now considering just the T20 squad, then definitely IPL is the platform wherein directly you get a pass entry. If you perform good, you're directly in the one-day squad. And of course, if you're good, you can perform in one day. But yeah, completely agree that three are very different skill sets. All three should ideally have a different set of players. I mean, if someone like Sky is, scooping, which is so not traditional. I remember Raul Dravid saying clearly Sky has not seen me batting while growing up. So, so it's a completely different skill set that requires in a T20 versus a test. So if we can have something like that, so I feel it will be great for not just the sport perspective, but for different players also getting those many opportunities, not just one player playing across all formats.
There's a lot of politics also involved, right? Like, I mean, getting selected and like multiple.
Let's not do that, please.
Yeah.
Everyone has stories. I think and everyone has very verified stories. But
let's not do that, please. Let's play to the. Let's not.
Let's move to IPL.
And all those nonsense here.
Yeah, let's come back to IPL. Like, I mean, what are the changes in IPL that you've seen till now? And like what's happening with these changes? Because like I remember when we were discussing about this topic itself, Shashank, you mentioned like there are so many things coming up, and like I think there was a women's league also initially before this even happened. Like, so what are your thoughts on all these things?
So get your facts right. So women's league did not happen.
I
Women's
know.
World Cup happened before men's World Cup.
No,
Okay,
no, no.
but that's a
IPL.
different
IPL
whole.
had Elise Perry and all these people in RCB, right?
IPL has
That's
it
what I'm
got
saying.
over like 10-15 days before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, sorry,
I'm
I
asking you to
misheard
address
you.
all of these things.
I misheard you. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the first time ever, IPL has come up with the women's league, but it was a very small league as this is the first time it's going on.
Mm.
So there were only like seven or eight teams, I think, and obviously it went well. So see, one thing I would say is to put women in front of any sport, if you ask me, is a good thing. Women will also get the opportunity, and apart from that, I don't three men sitting in a room and talking about women's sport is not a good thing for anything. So that is obviously my opinion, and I would say like if the following year we get more teams like 10 teams like how men's IPL used to have, that will be more entertaining. Like for 3 months they can play, or 2.5 months they can play. Obviously that be a very good thing. So I have nothing more to
Okay, as an expert, you can say that, man, gender without being gender biased. You can still say that as an expert, irrespective of your gender.
Yeah.
People expect you to
I
be
don't want to speak about
so you can give your answers openly.
Then if you ask me about equal pay, then I have a whole different opinion on why that is not right. So let's not get into that.
I am getting there. Wait.
Oh, okay. I have to go, guys. I am extremely sorry for the trouble.
No, but don't you think it'll help with viewership and everything as well? Like, I mean, and it'll impact women's cricket in a good way because this thing, like with women coming in IPL and like having all these teams and everything.
One is you want to work for the cause, and I mean it's not a cause, but it's like promoting another league, different type of league, which is not in the mainstream, right? I mean men's cricket has been mainstream, but then another aspect comes the marketing or the dhanda perspective. Paisa, if I put in the money, how much money I'm getting, and which is unfortunately not the case. So if women cricket, cannot be just you make a tournament and people will come. There's a lot of background work, grassroots level work that needs to be done right from awareness of, these sports, not just cricket, but entire sports for women. Everything has to come up. And then after one level, maybe a decade, you can expect viewers coming up and more sponsors coming. Like, why will you sponsor where there is no viewership, right? If you typically take the business point of view, like, all these Tata and all are coming for thousands and crores, right? Geo and everyone. They are only coming because an average Indian cricket match is above 20, 30, 50 lakh viewership, average IPL match. Versus if you see a World Cup match, that is also 19 lakhs, right? So one cricket match versus, the parity, right? So yeah, I mean, it's purely end of the day business. And if women cricket or any sort of cricket, which is women oriented perspective, I think the viewership needs to go up. Hence, they will come in. So we need to work on that aspect.
What are your thoughts on like how can we improve the viewership? Because that's something that has been struggling with all across the world. Like, I mean, football, women's football, and actually women's football, and basketball also, and all these sports, right? So, how can you improve the viewership? Like, what do you think? Like, do you think like something like what Shashank mentioned, box cricket and things like shorter versions will actually add more value over there, and then move on to the longer one, or like what?
See, sports as a vertical, I'll finish before Shashank one point. I feel still sports as a vertical or as a career option, as a option, still not promoted to the level that it should be if you compare to international levels, right? In India especially, even for men, I'm talking about. I mean, it's just considered as an option, not as a career. And for women, so bahut baad mein aate, they come very late. So I mean, the mindset right from the school level, like I said, from the grassroots level needs to be promoted. Sports should be made as a career option. Again, like you said, right? Rinku Sharma, Rinku example you gave. And there are a lot of players. I mean, you go and see, because I've seen Chenna Swami, this 17th is the match, right? RCB versus CSK. You go and see when Dhoni comes. He comes in Lamborghini and Ferrari, and you see the same IPL level players who are base level. They will come in bus and metro. So that's a disparity that is still there, right? Because cricket as a career, sports as a career is still coming up, popping up.
Yeah.
So at grassroots school level, we need to promote sports as a career. Maybe then a lot of talent, a lot of these guys, both men and women, will come up, and then you will see much more great talent, and then viewership will follow. I mean, your content, you should be strong enough to derive viewerships directly, indirectly.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to add anything, Shashank, or?
I mean, so I actually agree to what Pranay says on grassroots level. So, and even right now, sports as a career in India is not, very advisable because, there is more likely the chance that you'll become a millionaire than you become a cricket player for the Indian cricket team. So that is the number right now. And obviously, see, speaking about grassroots, I want to add just one more point. So this is one thing that, I like about what US does in their sports system. So take basketball, baseball, and American football. You have data for kids, from who are playing in 4th grade, 5th grade. So when you cultivate kids from that age, when he comes to a high school level, he'll obviously have 7-8 years of data already there, and that's how a sport should be approached, like from the school level. So obviously learn something from the NBA basketball, all this American sports league, how they operate and how they do business. So that is something I would love to know. And obviously I'm not a very big fan of this 3 years once IPL this format, like this auction format. So it will be more better if people can draft players. Like say for example, if Chennai are allowed to draft players, they'll obviously start growing players from the high school level, right? So that is something that we can all look up to. So youth academy, like how in football, like you can just promote players from youth academy to your senior team. So if you're training players who are like 8-9 years old to promoting them to the senior team and they become 18, so that is obviously a success for any single sport, men or women, it doesn't matter. So it's obviously a huge success. So getting all these IPL teams to develop youth academies to take care of all the people out there will obviously be a huge boost.
I think Mumbai has a youth academy, like if I'm not wrong,
I mean, see, that is just to make sure there is good happening. It's not exactly you are from the Mumbai academy. There's no chance you're going to play for the Mumbai Indians team. You have to go through the IPL process and auction process and all these things, right? So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, if Pranay follows football, so he obviously knows how a youth system works. You join the club when you're 4-5 years old. When you get 18, 19, 17, you get the chance to get promoted to the senior team. So that's how it should be, if you ask me, even in any kind of sport. So, yeah.
And the things are still getting improved with Khelo India, initiatives, but India is way far.
Yeah.
And actually investing in sports. Like I can see India's target in next a decade or next 20-40 years should be on sports. Maybe that's when we can have it. Yeah, we can see a lot of initiatives out there. But again, the politics and all, because I'm aware, because I was part of the sports system earlier. So I know it's still there. My family is still part of the sports and their livelihood is on sport. So I know, the corruption and all these are still there. And, again, the Rinku Sharma example that you took out, right? That you took, so only, I'm not saying now let's see the players that have, those who are playing for India. If you see all their backgrounds, everyone would be middle class and under middle class because they don't have an option otherwise.
Yeah.
If they would have had an option, they would have taken something else. So and it's not for sports. You see, Hima Das for who's there in running or weightlifting, Chinu. They're all background as such. I mean, they did not had any option then to choose this. So it was my way or the highway. That's why they became what they become. When you have an option, I remember Gautam Gambhir. I think he was rich before becoming an Indian player. But I don't anyone apart from Gautam Gambhir who was like rich and who had money and then he became a player that he became, right? So that money, because it's not there in the grassroots level, people don't consider it as a career. So that's a problem. I still feel which the government and the country needs to work on.
That makes sense. Okay, now I'm gonna digress the topic completely. Let's talk about like the streaming and the advertising and those aspects of it. Like right now, this thing was that Jio is streaming it for free, and Disney Plus Hotstar, and there's so many streaming rights and broadcasting was that war that's going on, right? So what are your thoughts on that? And there are like huge numbers here also that I have, but before we get into the numbers and everything, let's just hear your thoughts like on how like I mean the how much it's costing them. It's apparently there's 23,000 crores which is currently costing Reliance Jio to stream, and they're streaming for free. So how do they monetize this? Is it like just like I mean because like what are your thoughts on like how do they make money out of this after that, if it's like costing so much and they're streaming it for free? Ads only, or is there some other thing that they do?
I mean, it's classic Geo strategy,
Yeah.
as Reliance strategy. They are not coming for monetization, to be honest. They are coming for disruption.
Mm.
They want to just rule the market with free. You would have seen that happening with Geo networks, telecoms, right, internet facilities,
Mm.
where earlier for 1 GB you were charging 2 GB, 300, 400 rupees. They said free, 4 GB every day, right? So they don't come with of course, they have the long-term vision, but if you see in the short term, 1 to 5 years, they're not looking for monetization. They're only looking for disruption. And what platform to get into, like IPL or a OTT streaming platform. So, I mean, in the long term, we can discuss like how they can monetize. And of course, like I said, brand deals and all are always there to cover your loss for
Mhm.
it. But having an impact, having a name. I mean, why do you get name, right? Why does Sachin get that kind of money? Because people know him, the mass know him. So
Yeah.
tomorrow, if Reliance Jio, the mass know him, the world knows it, you can always make money. I mean, you can always recover. They have a good runway to run also. So they are not looking at monetization, honestly. See, for a World Cup man to uh, uh, stream the World Cup, right? The
Yeah.
biggest football, they were
Yeah.
not even asking a login thing. I mean, they could have captured so much details.
Yeah.
So you should understand, if they're not even asking login, they don't care. I mean,
But that
about
time their infrastructure also is terrible, right? Like I mean, I've heard like
initial,
people
yes.
saying
I
that.
feel in the 1 2 days, there were a lot of tweets that I read of the streaming
Mm.
part. But I think that was resolved in within a week. I mean, it shouldn't happen at that level, but it's okay. I mean, if they are not even taking a sign up, one step is also not there for a user. So
Yeah.
understand their psyche where they are coming up from, right? It's classic Geo, it's classic Reliance. Just go
Capturing
out
the
there,
market share.
don't need anything, kar lenge baad mein, like we'll see like what it is.
Yeah. It's like they have a bucket load of money already. So they just like, let's just go and capture the market share. We'll see about the other things later.
Right. And these are all their, I mean, subsidiary companies, right? I mean, Reliance, go and check Reliance stock. You will know, the kind of money that is in there with them.
Yeah.
So ideally, I mean, I'm sure they don't even look at these numbers. Monetization, I don't think so. They even talk in their board meetings.
Mhm.
It's just how much penetration, what's the growth, how much you have got into
Mhm.
product level details, and that's what they would be thinking. And of course, tomorrow, you never know, they will become a platform, they will host all the OTTs, and they will buy everyone, and then maybe look for money and other aspects. So yeah.
Mhm. What are your thoughts on the streaming war, Shashank? Like Disney also has bought the TV rights and things like that. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, see, both are still valid. Like people still like watching sports on TV. But I
Mhm.
think this is where Disney gets a few things wrong. So right now we have smart TVs where you can stream IPL. So
Yeah.
instead of paying for DTH and all these things, you can just get a smart TV to stream IPL. And as we spoke in the previous episode, also India still watches TV, but in a different format. Right. So right now it's become all OTT apps and all these apps where you log into these apps and watch your content. Right. So just because people sit in front of TV, that doesn't mean they are going to watch on traditional
But do
DTH,
you think,
traditional TV.
just sorry to cut you, but then do you think like this is applicable for tier two and tier three cities as well? Like where, like, I mean, majority of it
No.
is not, does not have the money to like own a smart TV or even like get access to like proper good quality phone to stream content, right? Like, let alone like this thing was that watch properly. And so, do you think they like it's a wrong move in that way? Because I don't know if people can like this thing own a smart TV and stream so much in like a tier three, tier four, like lesser tier four city and etc. And that's a huge market also, right?
So
I'll
one thing, so India has more smartphones than number of toilets. So that is one thing.
That
Okay.
is true.
This is
Yeah.
honestly true. So there are tier two, tier three cities who don't have TV, who don't have toilets, but yet have all these, like smartphones that people can use. And obviously, with the Geo and everything, the data is, very cheap as of now. So as Pranay mentioned, So Jio, as of now, is not capitalizing on Jio Cinemas or the app that it is using to stream. This is because they want you to pay for Jio data, right?
Mhm.
So that is one thing. And when you see when in the initial stages when Jio Cinema and all these Jio TV and everything started, it used to be free for only Jio customers, right? So if you have a Jio number, all these things you can get for free. But right now they changed that dynamic also. And obviously, what Ambani wants is people to sign up to Jio network so that they can get cheaper data packs, more data packs. So obviously, they're making money in some other way. And all the money that you said, like 23,000 some crores, it is not necessarily a loss. It's basically just customer acquisition cost. So I came across a post from LinkedIn. So Aditya Arora wrote a post on LinkedIn. So which gave that roughly customer acquisition cost for Jio is 5 rupees and 50 paise. If you ask me, that is pennies for Ambani. Getting a customer at 5 rupees 50 paise for any business is pennies.
Yeah.
Right. So
No, I'm just
let's assume
also,
we want to get go on.
No. I'm also thinking about I read this thing data where IPL opens with 40% fewer ads compared to the previous year. Then how do they make money? Especially Disney and Hotstar. They are not getting any customer data, right? Because if they are going TV route, Jio, makes sense. It's online, you can get their customer data and everything. So if there is 40% fewer ads compared to the previous years, then they're spending around 20k crore US this thing 20k crore this thing for the rights. How are they making money, man? They're just burning money out here.
Ads is not the only medium, no, Rakshit. See, understand.
Ads is not the
IPL
only
is a
medium.
platform for them to grow their top funnel. That's it, right? And so you are on a platform where you're getting 1 million, 100 million users. And of course, then there will be a funneling down. People will use their platform. They will buy their subscription, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a top funnel exercise they are doing. Don't consider directly to ad. Ads, they earn nothing. You do AdSense, ads is just one part of it out of the 10 people that they
it's
have.
10 cents on a dollar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's the top funnel that they're working. And imagine you are streaming. So if you have your app, let's consider this, right? If today you have a Rakshit BYM app and you are able to get exclusive rights for IPL, don't you think that if you are getting 100 million viewers on a every match basis, so something you will also sell on your platform that eventually you can buy and subscribe. So that's the model mostly.
And one more thing I'd like to add is, see, this is basic economics, okay? Demand and supply. When there is demand, let's assume there are 100 million viewers for this particular IPL, right? Let's assume there are 40% less ads. So the 60%, the remaining companies will obviously be willing to pay more to get that ad spot. Let's assume before there were 20 different companies fighting for 10 different ad spots. So right now it's become 20 different companies are fighting for 5 different ad spots. And all these things, it happens over bidding. So no company has a say on this number. So it obviously happens over bidding. So obviously this is a very good thing for even for the user also. So see, I have data to back this up. So in China, the only good thing to do is that WeChat limits ads to 2 to 3 per day for a particular phone. Right. So in a particular 24-hour period, the maximum ad you can see is 2, 3, maximum 4 on a worst day. Right. So obviously the cost of running all these ads will become way higher.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously it's not about just brainwashing people. It's about, getting people to actually use your product. So if a company is actually serious about putting all this up, it will obviously be willing to spend more money. So
for instance, there are throughout the day, there are different slots. Prices of ads depends on different slots when you are showing the ad, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, I think they limit the advertisers, like Hotstar and streaming platform can still make the money by increasing the slot price.
Yeah. So, okay. Now my question.
Sorry to add. What did Shashank answer to that? I got a call in between, so I had to jump off. What did he answer to your question of tier 4, tier 5, the TV will be replaced? What did he answer for that?
Nani, I think he mentioned about how this thing was that it will still help with the top funnel wala cheese. As he mentioned, he was mentioning about that. Yeah.
I was like, he started something good, then I had to jump off. So I was like, okay, I have to see the recorded part.
I mean, I mentioned, that is good. Go watch. At least we'll get one more viewer.
I'll add one point to what he was saying. I don't know if it makes sense now. But I feel with how the transition has happened over mobile phones, smartphones, right? Earlier, people used to have QWERTY, to now everyone tier 2, 3, irrespective, have a smartphone, right? Eventually, to what India behavior is now versus what it can be, I will maybe bet on what it can be. And smart TVs and all will be there in every tier 2, 3 eventually. Right.
Mhm.
So considering that also, I think it's a right move.
Got it. And like, what do you think brands can do to leverage IPL and like this thing? Like,
Yeah,
what?
brand needs to have a solid integration system, first of all. I see massive amounts of brand, like, for example, Healthify is there right now, right? Are you seeing any ads for Healthify?
No.
Are you seeing any integration? So that's the problem I have. So if you're spending so much money, even for Cred in this time, right? Cred is a classic example. Go and see Cred's IPL strategy. That's perfect, right? You're introducing your product, you're introducing your feature, you're introducing your brand altogether, you're introducing ads. So it's every time IPL Cred is around there, right? So see, eventually your goal is not just to get the sponsorship, but for also people to maybe, because I might be a different set of people, but every sponsor that I see, I actually Google if I find someone new. Like, ye karte kya hai? What do they do? So it's a platform that you're giving yourself to get showcased to people see, but then you should integrate also yourself in other aspect. So I feel a lot of 90% of the brand fail in that, 200%. Some of the brands like Cred, I know because Cred integrates properly. Like Swiggy, for instance, their last 5-minute delivery, they actually show in the last 5 minutes. So integration and all are proper are there, but I don't see a lot of brands integrate themselves properly. They just feel, okay, we have taken the sponsorship or brandship, and people will know. Like Herbalife, classic example, yeah. Like, though I know what Herbalife is, but I can't see any integration. And clearly, the kind of spaces they are getting in ads, they're clearly the top 5 or top 10 sponsors for IPL this time. But I don't see any integration outside that.
And like, yeah, Shashank, do you have anything to add? Or like, to you, my question would be like, what are some of the best, other than Cred, what's some of the best, this thing with the brand collabs and ads that you've seen in IPL? Also add on that also.
See, on IPL, if you take, a lot of brands do good, right? So I want to not limit my answer just to IPL. So if any brand, as Pranay mentioned, obviously you're spending so much money just on the title sponsor. So it makes sense to spend at least 10% more to, make the best out of it, right? So for any brand who's trying to do something with IPL, one thing you have to look is how Coca-Cola uses sports marketing strategy. And the second one will be how, Nike won over Adidas, even though Adidas was the title sponsor of the Olympics. Right. So these are some things, every brand has to look into. And see, if you're talking about IPL, the ads, that is based on IPL, they are so, catchy and everything. Right. See, even take, for example, you can't see Dhoni and you can't see Jadeja dancing anywhere apart from an IPL ad. Right. It rarely happens. So obviously every IPL ad is a different vibe. And every year they make sure they come up with some kind of advertisements of these forms.
I like
so,
the new
obviously,
Dream 11 stuff. Yeah. Have you seen
Dream
Dream
11?
11 with the actors also and random shit? Yeah.
Yeah. See, once again, it is just about making people remember. See, Dream 11 started just as a sports betting platform just for IPL, and right now it's the probably the best platform in India if you want to get into all this stuff, right? So obviously that is how you should transition. You have to grow with the IPL, you have to grow with the product, you have to make sure your business is also getting some kind of visibility. And obviously, see, if we go to Google Trends and just make a basic understanding of how Herbalife has grown after IPL, obviously there will be a huge increase, but that is not enough. Backing what Pranay said, obviously Herbalife has to do more. Yeah. And I didn't know that. I watched almost 3 or 4 matches and I didn't know Herbalife was a sponsor.
Oh wow. Yeah.
No, because I worked with the company wherein we were the sponsors for IPL, the second biggest. Right. When I was in the marketing, no integration at all. Yeah, zero level. I mean, we never even used to track how many people have come from IPL. What's the top funnel? Has it increased?
Wow.
Forget about. I mean, most of it is not very proactive. It is reactive strategies like, oh, acha, end aa gaya, so let's do something. Oh, acha, suddenly, I mean, this is not how you work. Buying is one part of it. You are not integrating. Forget about tracking and then measuring. Was it a success or not? So that's a gap I feel.
Okay. Perfect. Now on to our final thing. Like, what's the next for IPL? Like, I mean, because I remember when we were having this conversation offline, Shashank, you mentioned about what IPL can learn from the US leagues and stuff, right? With respect to marketing and things as well. So what do you guys think can IPL do to improve and and improve its impact in the country?
See, I'll start.
Yeah.
See, end of the day, you need money to run the system,
Mhm.
and IPL gives you that money to the board to improve the system at the niche level, right?
Mhm.
Now you see India having the greatest structure, what is believed, right? And right from under 7, under 12, then different boards, Ranji, different tournaments. ये सब अच्छा इसलिए चल पा रहा है because IPL is also running, BCCI is a profitable organization. So from that perspective, I feel it has already started making an impact. You know, great players that are coming out of the system, it's purely because of the money. And of course, not just BCCI money, but the IPL money is also, I'm sure, is quite humongous when it comes to the Indian system. So it's
Mhm.
already making an impact, honestly, in the kind of system that you're seeing. So yeah, but learning from the US, I'm not sure
Mhm.
because I don't follow much of the international leagues apart from the football.
Mhm.
Of course, I mean there can be a lot of learning, but I feel like in IPL in itself in India to related to a particular sports to a brand is enough. I feel right now, but of course there are always scope to learn from other that maybe Shashank can pick up.
Yeah.
I mean, to add on what Pranay said, see, obviously, you mentioned, see, IPL has, disrupted the industry. There is no way, even though all this, US brands do all these kind of marketing, IPL is the second most is the second biggest sports league in the entire world, right? So, see, what I'm trying to tell people to learn from NBA and all these things is not just to how to market stuff. See, marketing, obviously, Indians know how to do. It's not like we're stranger to marketing. We
Mhm.
are probably one of the biggest marketing brains in the whole world. No
Mhm.
people, see, just thinking of you on top of my head, Cred's ad with Rahul Dravid was probably one of the best ads I've ever seen in my entire life,
Yeah.
right? And all this, the ads, rin soap ads, where you play with dirt and everything. See, it's probably one of the best ads that people have ever come across. And
Mhm.
speaking of all this IPL, how it's going to change and everything. See, I want IPL not just to be a league that is just played 3 months, right?
Yeah.
It is instead of that being just a summer league, it's like you take football and basketball for example, it happens across the year, right? And obviously one more thing that is even though it is very it's sad for me to admit, if something is backed by Geo, it is obviously it's going to become the forefront. If it's backed by Ambani and Geo, it's going to become the forefront of that particular sport. You take ISL for example, in the football league, I League was there since the age of almost since independence. Right now, I League has become the second tier, and ISL has replaced it as the first. ISL has become the first tier league, and it's just being like 10 years of existence, almost 10 years, just 10 years. So IPL is already taking the throne, as we mentioned before. Selectors are paying more attention to how players perform well in IPL, and also because see marketability aspect comes in a lot. Like say for example, now if you ask someone to sponsor Riku Sharma, they'll obviously be willing to spend like 20-30 crores just to get a one ad out of it.
Mhm.
Obviously that's going to happen soon. And once again, there are good sides to this, bad sides to this, but yeah, we have to do something. And as Pranay is a little bit free now, I would like to add one more I would like to do one more episode where we just talk about sports marketing in particular, how sports markets and everything.
Perfect.
Hope you will take up my request, Pranay.
Yeah, of course, man. Anything for sports. I don't need to prepare much, I feel, apart from the numbers. I feel like
Yeah.
sports is
Yeah,
something we all are so
bro, if anyone wants numbers, they can Google stuff. No one wants us to tell numbers. No one cares about numbers apart from Rakshit.
Hmm.
Okay.
Data is everything, man.
Rakshit tries to
Yeah.
bring that technical angle. So as for Geo
uh,
got the 20,000 views.
Data matters. Data numbers matter. Remember that.
Bro, just because you tell number, that doesn't mean that you are smarter than the audience.
Cool. Yeah.
That's what I
Okay.
would just like to add.
I'm not saying I'm smarter than the audience, but I do hope Geo
But you
backs
act
up
like you are
so
smarter
that
than
we
the
are in
audience.
the so that we are in the forefront. Yeah.
Uh,
So anyhow, yeah, it was a lot of fun talking to the two of you and bearing the two of you for about an hour now. And yeah,
uh,
I hope our audience also got to hear anything. What are your closing thoughts? Do you have anything else to share before we end?
This is the most scary part, man. I don't know when you suddenly put that spotlight. So you are that zone where you feel okay, it's ending now. Chalo, okay, bye. And then suddenly like what a closing thoughts. Oh, achha, closing thoughts. Okay.
No, just mention where people can find you. That can be your closing thoughts. Where people can
yeah.
find you and how they can talk to you if they want to talk to you more.
LinkedIn, just active on LinkedIn.
Perfect. And Shashank, what about you?
Yeah,
ShashankSN.com
same.
and
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
shashankasan.com.
Yeah. And in
Shashankasan on LinkedIn.
Yes, so
Yeah.
and you can find us on
Shashank has become very active on LinkedIn, by the way.
I know, he's
Yeah.
killing it. He's killing it. Yeah.
Not just some posts, but with photos and all everything on this.
I know,
Yeah.
he's not
I'm searching
he's
so
not
hard.
posing. He's posing and he's taking pictures and everything. Like star.
That was
Superstar.
purely candid.
Yeah.
I don't post for photos.
Yeah, anyhow, and if you want to find us, you can find us on Brew Your Market channel, on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, anywhere and everywhere. So we'll see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.